Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. A revelation by William Ruto that MPs were rushing to State House for extortion of some money before passing bills in the National Assembly has sent panic amongst a section of Mount Kenya MPs and ODM rebels. And while it appears that the president's onslaught against MPs is fighting corruption, insiders are saying that is far from the truth. And over 20 members of parliament who have been beneficiary of president's mercy under the lobby or rather lobbying for different interests in the National Assembly are now worried lot as the president is throwing them under the bus. And in this podcast, we are going to look at the real thing, what the public conceive as fight against corruption is actually anger spilling over after a fallout of the president with the section of those MPs. It will tell you the money involved. Kindly subscribe to our channel. We are shooting this video in the county of Nakuru, Njoro. I came to Nakuru here, Njoro, for this special project here. And I am standing in the gap to rally us together to support Mama Rahab Ngina. It's a very special case I would want us to get. And currently we speak, she's actually stranded and homeless. But what is special about her here is she is blind, as you can see there. She went blind some time back and widowed the husband. But even though she's blind, she also had an element of kindness. It took over, she actually took a 3-month-old boy who was abandoned, an orphan, akachukua, akaishi na yeye. She lives with that boy, taking care of that boy, even despite of her condition. As currently we talk, that is the place they call home. You can look at how the photo you can see. So this is the place we come home. The house is in a very bad condition and it can even go down. Moreover, the boy that you are seeing there has not been able to get education. And something that attracted me to Rahab when this story was brought forth, that hata kama haoni, hata kama ako disabled, but the element of kindness, the element of humility, of taking over the orphaned boy to live. Huyo kijana ndio anamsaidia kumove hapa na pale. That is the boy, like you can see she doesn't walk. She can't walk. So kijana ndiye anamsaidia from moving one place to the other, ikipeleka huku na huku.
Sasa hii niko pale vipi yangu ni mingine. Nikachekelea hivi. Sasa naweka manguo hivi.
Na imeisha ukweli.
Sasa wakati tunalala nako hapa. Makojo hata makojo tunalala. Unaona hapa makojo. Tunalala na mimi nalala hapa na ako hapa. Tunaona paka makojo hata siku.
Kama makojo yote.
Sasa mtoto tunalala hapa. Sasa tunaamka tuende kanisa. Tuende shule sasa ndipo tunaishi. Ndiye Mungu asante. Kwa jina naitwa Rahab Ngina Mwangi. Naomba watu wa moyo wa upendo na huruma, moyo wa upendo na huruma wanisaidie tu. Kwa sababu kwenye maisha naishi ya maisha ya shida. Niko na mtoto hapa, nataka naomba msaidie kwa sababu atamani ya shule au usaidizi macho haonagi vizuri. Msaada sipatagi hata serikali hata kitu hata kidogo. Hata nyumba yetu wakati tulichomewa hatukujengewa hata tukupatia hata msaada. Yote ni mashida tu na nimepitia shida, hata mzee alikuwa kwa vita tu.
So I just want to ask you guys, the best we can do for this Rahab and the boy is to make sure you put them a house. When you put up a house for them, at least mtoto hata tukimpeleka shule, akirudi atapata a safe place anaweza ishi. as the situation is, it's been very dire. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. I've instructed David and the team that from tomorrow morning, Wanachimba Foundation, I don't have any money. But I believe kidogo to kidogo hujaza kibaba. Let's send in what you can get, what you have. If you do 50 bob challenge, 100 bob challenge, whatever you have, we are starting building tomorrow. Kesho tunachimba, tujenge. By the time shule inafunguliwa, pia kijana mtoto tumpeleke shule. And we shall have made a mark in their life. Kindness paid with kindness. And I believe that will help. President's proclamation about MPs' bribery, receiving money, received blanket condemnation from the members of parliament who talk bitter about the fact that even though the president has been a beneficiary of the parliament's mercy after he captured it, he turned his back on it. However, when you listen to insiders about this, they say it is indeed true that some people and members of parliament have been soliciting money from the president. But it's now from State House. But it's now emerging that a section of UDA MPs from Mount Kenya are now reaching out to UDA rebels and their ODM counterparts to counter the president's statements on inducements and actually calling for the impeachment push. And they have come out to say that the president has used them and now is abandoning them. If this is the situation, then I think I have no mercies for them. I have no apologies for the members of parliament that have been on the president's side for better part of Kenya Kwanza administration regime. And there have been the discussion about the timing and the context. Remember, it had to take a joint PG of ODM and UDA for the president to launch the onslaught. So what actually has been happening, Moses Kuria says that it's indeed true that while extortion or money being paid to parliamentarians for one favor or the other is an act that happens, parliamentary leadership in different sectors are always the conduit the president uses to make sure that his interest sails in parliament. And the first one is the office of majority leader. I remember even when Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to remove Aden Duale as the majority leader after the then fallout, it still had to use the office of Aden Duale, and one of the person secretaries there is the one that was used, the person was used to reach out to MPs, and Duale was kicked out so that Amos Kimunya could be handed over the position of majority leader. And you could understand why Kimani Ichung'wah was speaking shaken about the perceived list.
The fact that we kept quiet.
Katika kikao ambacho hakikuwa kimepangwa rasmi, matamshi ya Rais William Ruto hapo jana kuhusu baadhi ya wabunge na maseneta kudai hongo yaliibua mjadala. Wabunge wakiweka tofauti za kisiasa kando na kumkabako rais.
We are now going to exercise our teeth. We are now going to bite. And Honorable Speaker, as I speak, there is a censure motion. It is before you, Honorable Speaker, it's coming. We must now take our rightful position as a National Assembly.
If you're the president and you know those who are stealing, why don't you arrest them? Why do you come to tell us? What do I have to do with it? You are the president. You are saying you want to fight corruption. And you know those who are stealing. What are you waiting for? Is it our business?
If that act was procured through bribery, then that act should be repealed and brought back to this house so that we can act on it again without the bribery.
Baadhi ya wabunge wakionya hii ni njama ya kisiasa wanayodai huenda ikatumiwa dhidi yao.
it must be that they are coming for CDF and for RMLF. It is for that reason. 2, it must be that they want to salvage their political aspirations at the expense of the members. They must have realized that many members perhaps are unpopular, and so they want to throw them under the bus.
Kwa upande wao, maseneta waliowekwa darubini kwa madai ya kuitisha hongo kutoka kwa magavana sasa wanamtaka rais kufika mbele ya mabunge hayo mawili.
For the president to come and explain who are those people who are demanding bribes? Who are those people who are given bribes? Because you cannot try parliament in a kangaroo court when statute already has clear provisions for dealing with unethical conduct on the part of members of National Assembly or members of the Senate.
Huku wabunge na maseneta wakichemka, Spika Moses Wetangula amedhibitisha kupokea lalama dhidi ya wabunge kadhaa.
Remember when the president said, we will not just name them, we'll arrest them. And he says that indeed the members of executive that have been people that have been giving money to chairmen of some committees and parliament, then 98, almost 80% of committees, critical committees, are chaired by UDA or members of UDA party or UDA affiliate MPs who have been friendly to the president. So if this money is being given, a demand that has been given, because bills coming from executive are supposed, the person that is supposed to push government business in the National Assembly is none other than Kimani Ichung'wah, who is the majority leader. So the circle around Kimani Ichung'wah is one that is under threat and are feeling the pressure because of the president's proclamation, and are really being amongst the team that feel the president is going after them after their use. And in fact, it's true. You know, let me tell you, we said that I looked in my position. I think in this podcast, my position was very clear that Mount Kenya MPs made a mistake of cheering Rigathi Gachagua impeachment. Well, at that point, it was a political bonga point for the president, and the president wanted to show his deputy that, you know, I have the balls and I can do it. On their end, they were actually putting on their own political graves. Now, cries are out. Another critical office that has also been earmarked and that is also in panic is the office of the speaker. Let me tell you, the office of the speaker is not only made up of Wetangula. Speaker, there is speaker's panel. And you will understand, and that is the logic why you will understand the bitterness of Ugenya Member of Parliament, Ochieng, who commented on this, and I found his statements, according to me, a little bit too casual and lazy, if you allow me to use that word.
This president gave us a finance bill that was very unpopular. We passed it for him. This president gave us a housing levy, very unpopular. We passed it for him. This president has asked us to pass SHA. We sat here until 10 p.m. Passed it for him. What have we done for him? What has this parliament not done for president that he now has to come and bastardize us? What? Let him do his job. And why he's also involved in corruption, we'll follow him. You can't come and name everyone else be corrupt as if yourself you're very clean. It doesn't work like that. We have one country.
Speaker, I will beg that I be added 2 minutes for context as a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Mr. Speaker, first of all, let it be clear, I am a member of the committee. I have never sought or received any gain or advantage to support or oppose anything, except as by law and my conscience and my constituents. Mr. Speaker, the simple sequence of that long statement read by my chair is that this was a government bill sponsored by the Executive Office of the President. And we were told that we needed to pass it to remove Kenya from the grey list in compliance and it was signed off by the leader of majority. We complied, it came here, it passed. Where is our fault? Should we have rejected it? Because if we did, then you can blame us. Mr. Speaker, if that passage of the act and the amendment was procured by any corruption, then that corruption can only come from the executive office of the president. Because they are the ones who wanted it to pass. And if that is so, then three things follow. One, that either the president or someone in his office knows who gave the bribe. Two, the president or someone in his office knows who received that bribe. And three, they know why it was given, because obviously it could not have been for passage. It's even more annoying that it is alleged that some 10 million was given. Do you know 10 million to give the members, that's 28,000.
Because you cannot say that you are passing bids for the president while you've been elected as a member of parliament to represent your people. He's a member of the speaker's panel. And you can as well look for Pondo Kaluma. He's also a member of the speaker's panel. And several others who also sometimes, if you just want to know wale wanakaanga kwa hiyo kiti wakati the speaker yuko, like Gladys Boschole, these are the people that are supposed to have been part of it. And why is the speaker's panel part of it? Remember, if I've had the speaker Wetangula today saying that there are no formal complaints that have been raised against any MP for him. You know, because this has taken it, and quite a number are really looking at it. The other office that also, another caucus of MPs is Mount Kenya, a section of Mount Kenya Women Caucus. There is a caucus of women MPs, women leaders. It brings together MPs. I don't know whether there is a senator. It brings together MPs, women reps, and some governors. And that caucus, there is a caucus that has been around President William Ruto. And you could see really they were the ones that were defending. That is the caucus that even mobilized for Mary Maua. You see this group of Mary Maua, Betty Maina, Sabina Chege, the group that were mobilizing allegedly some women support for the president in Mount Kenya. And that is one of the strongest pillars that the president had been really depending on. The other axis is Parliament Clerk Office. Yes, that is also another axis that can be at disposal of the executive. And when you look at, when you remember the case of Oroba, where Oroba was saying that the clerk was actually having an issue with the Senate clerk over how maybe foreign trips, for you to be granted permission and allowances to go for foreign trips, you have to be in good books with the clerk of the Senate and this and that. You remember all that story. So all these are part, and you can go and do your research, people who are around that area. So away from just that, there are also another caucus of blue-eyed MPs from Mount Kenya that after the Rigathi fallout, they have been closest to William Ruto, and their closeness, the caucus of the blue-eyed caucus around William Ruto, they were posturing themselves as the people to counter Rigathi Gachagua. Let me tell you, the section of UDA MPs feel that the president is reading a riot act on them after grand fallout, and of course, when they failed to counter Rigathi. After viciously pushing for Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, and let me tell you, Rigathi Gachagua impeachment was floated in the National Assembly by Mwingi Mutuse. But at the signature collection, if you are privy to this, signature collection was heavily mobilized by a clique of MPs from Mount Kenya, and it was made to be that way so that of course, that impeachment was supposed to look like UDA MPs are turning against Rigathi Gachagua. It was not supposed to be the whole MPs. So they are the ones that were put, they're quite the ones that were given the mobilization fund. Let me tell you, no one was to sign. That impeachment started by MP signing. No one was to sign without receiving any payment. And that payment was not coming from a single source. It was all from this, and from that corner. So that is one of it. But again, this is the main breakup point why there is a bile between the president and of these MPs. I want to look at that, but before we finalize on that part, I will still want to remind you at this point to kindly support our Njoro mission. We are helping Mama Rahab Ngina put up a house and also take care of the young boy who she rescued, despite the fact that she's blind and she has that disability and she lives in that condition. She's been taking care of that boy. And of course, at this point, we wanted to get a decent place, at least tumjenge, shule kifunguliwa, pia we take care of education of the small boy. Now, 3 factors are at stake. The first one, the President William Ruto allegedly availed funds over to a Mount Kenya caucus to defend Kenya Kwanza administration against Rigathi Gachagua's onslaught. In this channel, I want you to remember the meeting that happened in Naivasha, and the statement was read by Dagoretti South MP JKJ Kiarie. That is the day Rigathi Gachagua left the country to the US. And that speech, that was the first meeting that was convened, and the meeting was allegedly to, of course, mobilize funds. One of the things, the weak point for President William Ruto is when you come up with, and this is what some of the people are saying, that when you come up with an idea of campaigning for him, there, I have some 100 group of women, so we are going to campaign for this. That is a soft point. And despite of that, these MPs have failed to defend William Ruto against Rigathi onslaught. And this one is in black and white. You can just tell me, show me a single video where MPs have, from Mount Kenya, allegedly, or actually, apart from these empowerment forums where they talk on rallies with Kindiki and probably vice presidents are standing, where they're actually making a move themselves, organizing even a meeting, even a press briefing to castigate or rather to defend the President William Ruto. And what is causing the bile is not the extortion. Extortion is not new. Extortion is not the issue. What the people are saying here is, pesa inatoka, hii pesa anadilia si ile pesa anapeana parliament. That is a transactional give and take. Because it will be a problem if they take the money and they don't pass the bills. It's not complained that the money is taken and the bills are not passed. So that is not an issue. What is causing the bile, the hii pesa inachukuliwa ya siasa, and it's not translating the real change. The second one is this. You look at the empowerment programs are heavily domiciled in Mount Kenya, heavily funded by the state, and the NIS followed these guys. The real need, the real thing here is the empowerment money needs to go back to mwananchi. I can tell you to just make a challenge, just do a challenge. And even in this channel, get us 10 groups or even 20, or even get us 3 groups from a constituency where an empowerment program is done and they receive the money and they do something tangible. And what NIS probably are telling the president is that that money is going back to those MPs, and the MPs are keeping up that money. They're given, put up there for empowerment forums, probably with the Kindiki. They go and use some 10% for it, the rest of it they keep. And that has failed to yield the political gain that was needed. And that is why the president is mad. The third aspect is the Mount Kenya MPs have declined to mainstream the broad-based deal. Let me tell you, the broad-based deal is William Ruto wants to take those Mount Kenya people and Raila into one basket, and then they get one candidate but gets the support of both parties. Mount Kenya MPs, when they get to Mount Kenya, they never mention about Raila Odinga deal. No. Even in parliament, they've never mentioned the issue of the BBG. And these are some of the things that are making the president very angry. A lot of money is being put, and I said it here, that it cannot be that if there is a problem, pesa iko, that problem there, pesa iko, you cannot survive it that way. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the bit of what is causing the jitters. And kindly subscribe to our channel. I have another interesting analysis coming your way, so make sure you support this channel. Subscribe, and kindly let's support our project in Njoro. This is the first time I'm in Njoro, and I'm super excited to do something for the people of this place. Thank you.